here with DUI and Rager Dutch. What's going on, fellas?
How are you? Happy Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm just freezing my balls off over here.
A little cold in the Northeast for the month of May. We got a little bit of a dick tease with some nice weather on the weekend. Might have even gotten up to 80 degrees, and now there's like snow flurries on the weekend. This whole year just sucks, including
Right
the month
back
of
to
May.
hell. Yep.
Right back to hell.
Just one punch after the other.
That's a nice segue. We're here to talk about UFC. We're here to talk
We
about
have sports.
UFC.
We have sports, ladies and gentlemen.
We do have sports. Usually it's DUI that gives 10, 15-minute breakdown. I figured maybe a few of us would hop on, and maybe we'll just ruin it this time, and DUI is just going to say, I'm going to just lead this by myself from here on out. But we're just so excited that there's some kind of sport.
Something to talk about.
Not everybody's into UFC or watches UFC, but I think that the ratings on this are going to be sky high because this is the first American sport since the last UFC.
Probably the last UFC, probably. Dana White comes to the rescue again. Thank God for him.
And that was March 13th, 14th. So we're working on 2 months.
And that was even that was in Brazil. So I don't even know if we want to count that as American.
True.
Wow. But yeah, that's the last thing that I remember seeing on television besides like WrestleMania or something like that.
What a fabulous 2 months it's been. But we have UFC coming up here. NASCAR's coming up. I don't know much about handicapping NASCAR, but we're going to, at least watch it. They're going to have it on Sundays and Wednesday nights, which is hilarious. Wednesday night NASCAR in the evening. I'm up for
Wednesday night
it.
Races?
I mean, there's nothing else going on.
Absolutely.
Watch a little bit of Last Dance on Sunday. DVR it maybe Monday, Tuesday, and then you get your NASCAR on Wednesday. So
Last Dance is just phenomenal. It's
good.
Getting even better as it goes, which is awesome. I'm stuck on it. I love it.
It really is awesome. And maybe it has something to do with there, not being sports on right now. But even if there were, I mean, it's a great documentary. I think that they had planned to bring it out in the summer because if you show it now, it's during the NBA playoffs. Not as many people would watch, but there's no NBA playoffs. So
no, that was the point, though. They were going to release it on like off nights from the games.
Oh.
So that was the original rollout plan. They were going to release it on the nights that they were taking off nights for the games.
Okay. Someone told me, and they must have been full of shit, that it was supposed to come out later in the year. Okay.
I heard that from the Part of My Take guys, and they're pretty credible on the Bulls documentary stuff.
Okay. Well, then I heard wrong news. Anyways, someone told me that was full of shit. Anyways, UFC 249. UFC 249. We have a large card. I don't know as much about UFC as our expert here, but DUI, you're saying that this is the best card that we've seen in a while.
In a while, yeah. I mean, unfortunately, the problem with UFC over the last couple of years is that the product's been relatively watered down a bit. Not that there haven't been great fighters, not that there haven't been great fights, but they've backed themselves into a corner where they have to fill this 40-week calendar every year. Their roster just isn't big enough to do that, especially guys time fights dropping out. But if you have whatever we've had here, a six-week break to be able to put 4 different fight cards into one, you get the creme de la creme of all of them. So we've got a great card here, 2 title fights, star power all up and down the card. It should be a fun night. It's going to be interesting to see aesthetically. I don't know anything about this arena that they're fighting in Jacksonville.
Florida, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be, of course, all the wild shit's happening in Jacksonville.
Florida's gonna do Florida things. I mean,
it's just
we knew that
Florida,
the first event would be in Florida. Baseball's gonna take place in Florida first. I'm sure it's all Florida.
They're trendsetters, and you know what? We need them.
Where Florida goes, the country goes. Let's see.
At this point, I'm up for whatever, man.
That's it.
I'm up for doing whatever. However you can get me sports within the US.
They're UFC's trying to do us right. They're doing 3 cards in about 8 days, so it's gonna be big fun. They're throwing us right back into it. Hopefully this goes well and it doesn't screw up the next 2.
3 cards in 8 days is impressive. So the first one's Saturday, and then from there, is it all in Jacksonville still?
Yep, same building. They're doing Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday. So
okay.
it's probably a total of like 25 fights.
Interesting. So it seems like for the next like 3 to 4 weeks between UFC and NASCAR, there's like something on the weekend, and then like Wednesday evening seems to be like a target right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Works for me.
I don't know what they're planning on doing after these 3 events. There's talks that they're trying to get back into Vegas. There's talks that they're still trying to get an island somewhere. So
yeah, Fight Island. Fight Island.
We'll see. We'll see what happens after these 3 events. But
That's a thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my God,
probably
that
some
sounds awesome.
private Bahamas island that he could just have set up a cage on the beach, let people fight.
That's heavy metal. I like that.
You have to credit Dana White. I mean, some people say that he's too over the top, but honestly, if you're going to do something and fight for something, you might as well go all out, right? But he was going to have that Fight Island, and then someone told him to back off. Like, I forget, but he was going to like go on with it and have these fights sometime in April. He was trying to secure some island, probably in the Bahamas,
Absolutely.
like you were saying.
Yeah,
Wasn't it like
there's so many little islands there? Yeah.
It was like a strong suggestion from like a very powerful business partner or like the
Yeah.
government or something like that.
Something high up.
Yeah,
Something
I don't know.
hie up.
Yeah, I don't know, but
It takes a lot to shake Dana. So
It sure does. Yeah, he's because especially he's Trump's boy. So the two of them, it might have
Maybe it
even
was
been
him.
Trump.
it might have been him.
Yeah.
Like, ease the brakes here.
Just for a couple weeks
It's like-
until Florida decides to open their ass.
These people are already stuck inside wanting to Hunger Games each other anyway. Like,
Exactly.
let's not give them a place to
and
do
the
it.
first thing we bring them is cage fighting. Like people are going to be eating each other in the streets.
I really hope we don't look back on years in the future and look back and say, maybe UFC was the wrong thing to have first. Everybody's got this pent up tension,
It was blood
anger.
sport.
Like, I can't say that there's a lot of solidarity and like unity in the country right now.
Absolutely
like, it's polar
not.
opposites. I'm not going to get
Absolutely
into
not.
a political discussion right now, but it's polar opposites, and there's a lot of anger, frustration, aggression. And if UFC, people are tuning in because like, what else is on Saturday? Nothing. People are just watching men, women beat the shit out of each other. Who knows if that carries over into real life? Let's hope not.
Conflict resolution class right there.
Yeah, especially because it's 3 times the next 8 nights. Jesus.
Just a lot of faces getting pounded in for our
Just-
pleasure.
Yeah, UFC and NASCAR. People are going to take that into their own society and lives and be doing 150 on their side streets and beating the shit out of people. So
Yeah, when you just said that, I just
America.
realized we really are living Mad Max right now.
This is exactly what this is. Yeah. Just going to be flaming guitars in a minute.
it could get worse. It could get worse. So let's keep joking around about it. So where should we start here, DUI? I have a
Well-
list of all the fights. I know that you don't like to give your official picks until the weigh-ins happen, and that happens Friday evening.
That'll happen Friday evening. Yeah, I mean, I've got a general idea of what I like going up and down the card, but yeah, you wait till the end to get all the information. There's a chance some guy blows weight by 5 pounds. There's a chance that someone, unfortunately, happens all the time. Someone gets hurt between now and then and can't fight. So yeah, I usually like to wait until morning of to get my official picks out there, and all of which will be on the Wager Rager Twitter. Make sure you give that a follow, everybody. So we'll have that for you Saturday morning. But here's what I think. Great card. 2 title fights at the top. Unfortunately, it's not the title fight that we're all looking for. Tony Ferguson and Khabib Nurmagomedov will never happen. It's a cursed fight.
It's not going to happen.
They've tried to make it 8 times, and it fails literally every time. This time due to a pandemic. There's nothing that's going to get this fight to happen.
No.
But Justin Gaethje is an absolute savage, being able to step up for an interim lightweight title shot. He's coming in hot. 3 straight finishes. Tremendous wrestler, tremendous pressure guy. He's a guy that could give Tony Ferguson some problems in short bursts. Tony Ferguson, however, is outside of Khabib, is still probably the hottest fighter on the planet.
Okay.
18 and 19 wins, 112 in a row. People forget about him because he takes so much. He's had such a weird injury history that he's only fought 5 times in the last 6 years, something like that.
Oh, is that right? Okay,
yeah, he's had some bad injury mishaps.
And he's favored it at, well, like I'm looking at minus 177 right here.
Yeah,
Wow.
he's an absolute savage. The way that I kind of break down this fight is that Justin Gaethje is going to come out with a lot of pressure like he usually does in most of his fights. He's a guy that tries to get you out early, which is why this is going to be such a fun fight.
Okay.
Because Ferguson's the opposite, where he's going to hang back, he's going to look to counterpunch, and he's going to have cardio going all day. So that's where I see the fight really turning, unfortunately for Gaethje, is that if he doesn't get him out early, which I don't think he will, because Tony Ferguson's tough as nails. I think that once we get past 1.5, 2.5 rounds, that's when Gaethje really starts to fade. And I think Tony Ferguson never lets up. He hits you with these vicious elbows. If he gets you up against the cage, you're leaving scarred up. Like he hits you with these giant elbows, cuts your face, and makes for a real tough time for you. He is a tremendous fighter. If you guys haven't seen him before, he's very, very unorthodox, very fun to watch. I like, you mentioned, what's the current line at 170?
Yeah, 177. It might vary. I just pull up Parks because it's easy to look at. And Gaethje, I have it at plus 150 right now.
I lean Ferguson here with minus 170. I think he's the better fighter. I think he's got more weapons. I think he's got more ways to win. The only hesitation that I really have with him is that injury history. Is a little bit of ring rust of how little he's been in there, because he's coming in hot. He's won, as I said, 3 straight finishes, all within the last year or so. So he's been steady in the cage, getting his work in. But one thing that Ferguson does especially well is hit you to the body, not only with hands but with kicks, and that could instantly zap Gaethje's gas tank and make for a real long night for him.
Okay. I think it's hilarious right now. I'm trying to pull up lines, and I feel like this is the first time I've opened up some of these apps in like a month, because I haven't been betting.
Yeah.
Like I was betting on the stock market some mornings in the early going. Like I think last time I did that was late March, early April on Bovada, because you could do that. That's a Canadian site. I don't think you can legally do that in the U.S., bet on the U.S. stock market. But I'm on FanDuel, and I have Gaethje, plus 144. Minus 174 for Ferguson. Yeah. So those lines are probably all in unison. You might be able to shop around and get like a minus 165. But you got me excited for this fight. There's some other things that you can bet on also, and I'm sure that we'll be coming through things. And as you said, we'll post our picks on Instagram and Twitter, and we will be getting our website up, guys. I will be getting this URL up soon. Not going to be up for the weekend, I'm sure. And I'm not even going to give the URL, because if you go there, it still looks like shit. So, but that will happen very soon. But all these picks will be on all of our social media outlets, and we even have YouTube at this point. So maybe you'll even see, a video of this podcast up there. But some other bets to go the distance, no, minus 530. So it's saying that it's not going to go to the distance, and that lines up with your breakdown. Do you?
Yeah, I see it unlikely, especially Gaethje is either going to knock you out, or I don't think he lasts a full 5 rounds.
Yep.
I just think that Ferguson is such a volume. Ferguson can get you with so much volume that eventually he'll just overwhelm you if you can't keep pace with him. And
okay.
If Gaethje's pace drops, I think it's going to be a long night.
Okay. To that point, Ferguson by submission plus 240. Ferguson by KO, TKO, or DQ plus 260.
I don't find submission super likely, just because I think Gaethje is a good enough wrestler to keep him off him.
Yeah.
And so, Gaethje is super tough, so I don't know necessarily if he's going to get him out of there, but it's not something that I've really thought is the best option.
Right. I probably won't play that one, but maybe Ferguson by KO, TKO plus 260. I might dabble in that.
Yeah.
First sports bet in 2 months. I might as well make it a plus bet,
There you go.
It's been a while. I mean, who knows? If I get bored in the next couple of days, I might make a Korean baseball bet before the UFC card.
Yeah. They're
KBO,
back.
right? KBO are playing at like 5:30 in the morning. Saw a couple games. People are really all excited. I'm not that excited, to be honest with you.
No.
But
no
what
interest.
I might do is
Not at
start
all.
looking at some stats on it just to get my mind right in terms of looking at MLB stats, breaking down some things, and just say, hey, looking at the matchup, this is what I like in the first 5 innings, so on and so forth. Because I need some practice before MLB gets going this year, if it gets going this year. But all right. So I think I'm going to do that plus 260. Is there anything else we should touch on this fight? And this is the last fight, of course, and that's going to be what, around 10, 11, midnight?
That's the main event. That will probably, depending on how the rest of the card flows, that'll probably start around 12:30
Okay.
East.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be a late Saturday night. Drinking, watching some kind of sports.
There we
And
go.
where can we watch these? Are these going to be like on ESPN?
So the prelims, the first 8 fights of the night, first 7 fights of the night are going to be on ESPN. You can from that's from 6 to 10. The first 7 fights, and then
ESPN.
the last 5 are on pay-per-view.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So there's no sports in this fucking world, and they're still making us pay for things. There's nothing else on. There's how many cable channels do I pay for? Like fucking 350?
Yep.
Spanish channels, Turkish channels, fucking Al Jazeera. And you're telling me that you got to pay for, God damn it.
No such thing as a free lunch.
Yep, they're giving us fights, but they got to make their money.
Fucking A. All right. I'll still
Advertising.
watch. I do have ESPN Plus, I'm pretty sure. But still.
Is it like
Still.
$80 like the fights used to be, or is it like $12?
I think it's the same price.
Oh boy.
Oh, see, I thought it was going to be on ESPN Plus. Okay.
So ESPN Plus, you get the full library, but you still have to buy the events.
I'm looking into this price right now because this is probably the only useful information I'll be able to provide to this.
I mean, I'm not
Okay.
really providing anything except yelling about Spanish television that I have and Turkish TV. I mean, I have every reason to buy this because I'm not spending on other things right now. So I'm going to go out and get it. $85 fucking dollars.
Yeah, with an ESPN Plus membership.
ESPN can blow me right now.
Yeah, they're
I
pretty
mean,
shitty.
What is going to be on standard ESPN and ESPN2 at 11 o'clock on Saturday night?
No idea.
Just rerunning The Last Dance and having like NBA Finals from 1986, which I have actually enjoyed watching some of those.
I believe Saturday programming is typically the Ocho, so probably like a nose-picking championship or something of that sort. Something dumb.
Something dumb. They could have just put it on, not charge people. Not charge people. It's 2020. The year sucks. There's nothing going right, and you're going to charge people.
Yeah.
All right, I've blow off my steam now. All right,
Steam blown.
steam blown. All right, I'm done. Should we
Moving
go
right
on?
along, we've got the other title fight on the card. Might not be as fun as the main event, but it's certainly very interesting because what we have is Henry Cejudo, former gold medalist, wrestling gold medalist, Olympic gold medalist, who is on some sort of heater. He's out of nowhere, where he was kind of, he was a fine flyweight, and all of a sudden he gets the second Demetrius Johnson fight, who is widely considered the best 125-pound fighter in the history of fighting, and was considered by many the pound-for-pound greatest in the sport. Cejudo beats him, then fights another champion, T.J. Dillashaw, beats him, and goes up in weight to fight and dominate Marlon Moraes to win 2 belts in 5 fights. He's on some kind of role that I don't think anyone ever really saw from him. But he is taking on Dominic Cruz, who is widely considered the greatest of all time at 135. He has not fought, however, since 2016. He is coming back a late replacement for Jose Aldo. Yeah, it's very interesting because the question is, what are we going to get from Dominic Cruz? Tremendously gifted stand-up fighter. Doesn't have the big power, but tremendous footwork, tremendous volume punching. and it's going up against Cejudo, who's a great pressure fighter. Will pressure you with his wrestling. Will pressure you with his stand up. To me, what this fight boils down to is what you just don't know what you're getting from Dominick Cruz. So it's a fight that I wouldn't touch bet wise, just because it's something that could be over in 30 seconds if Cruz isn't right.
Okay.
Which how could he be since not fighting since 2016? But I also think that if this was prime Dominick Cruz, he's significantly better than Henry Cejudo. So if a 90% version of Dominick Cruz shows up on fight night, I think Cruz might be able to take it, but I'm just not willing to risk anything on a guy that hasn't fought in 4 years.
Sure.
Both guys are coming off injuries right now. I mean, Cruz's career was derailed by injuries. He's another guy that similar to Tony Ferguson, the injury bug has robbed us from some of the best years of his career. And Cejudo had shoulder surgery after his last fight. So we'll see what kind of adjustments both of those guys have to make. What might be a big factor here is size. Cejudo was fighting mainly at 125 pounds for the majority of his career. Moved up to fight Marlon Moraes, and really we didn't get to see too much of how he looked at 135 because he smothered Marlon Moraes. Marlon Moraes wanted out of there. He pressured him too much. He completely gassed him out. That's not going to happen to a guy like Dominick Cruz, who's got a gas tank that doesn't stop. So it'll be really interesting. And Dominick Cruz is a natural 135er. So he's going to be much bigger than Cejudo in the cage, much longer. If he keeps him on the outside, I think that's a great path for Dominick Cruz to win. But like I said, you just don't know what to expect out of a guy that hasn't fought in 4 years.
Yeah, it's a good point. Cejudo, just for some lines, Cejudo's minus 220, Dominick Cruz plus 183. To go the distance, yes, minus 177. So that's juice, no, plus 131. Something that I was thinking of, there's been a long layoff for a lot of these guys, and I'm sure that they've been training hard, but can we expect any kind of, rustiness? Like, is there any value in taking like under 1.5, under 2.5 rounds, like matches to just like fights to just end in the first round? Because maybe some people haven't been training as hard. Maybe they're just lost right now because we're in the middle of a pandemic and you're in Jacksonville, Florida, fighting in front of no fans.
It is going to be interesting to see how guys. I'm not necessarily worried about. I should say I am somewhat worried about guys' cardio, and I've mentioned cardio a number of times here because I'm sure that the closures among the various states have obviously affected the gyms that these guys fight in, where these guys train. And, there's only so much running on a road that you can do. You need to. For true fight cardio, you need to be, throwing punches. You need to be throwing kicks. You need to be wrestling. And I'm sure I'm not sure how a lot of these guys have been training. If you can't get more than 3 people in a room, I don't know how you're training wrestling. I don't know how you're training boxing. I don't know how it's going to be interesting to see what this looks like fight night.
Yeah, you would think that some people might have some home setups, but like you can only do so much if you're not in the gym. I know my cardio's gone to shit. If I go up and down the stairs right now, I'm like huffing and puffing.
Yeah, I'm a mess right now.
Yeah, just can't do anything right now. But these are professional athletes. I'm really interested to see, and I don't know that that's an angle to take, but some of these might be mismatches and. Some people might not have trained well. Some people just might be in la la land, just thinking, what the hell am I doing? But then again, these fighters are built differently. Like their minds are different than your average Joe. Like these are professional fighters, so they're pretty damn focused. But the whole cardio and to see how many people are or are not in shape is going to be, I think, interesting for me to watch. And then I'll be curious to watch that and see maybe if I see an edge on that, how that might play into me placing a wager on fights 2 and 3, which is coming up in Jacksonville also. Just take some takeaways from it. Potentially. I'm just talking out loud. So
yeah, I like it.
Okay. So Cejudo, and he's flyweight, you said?
He fought the majority of his career at flyweight. This fight's at bantamweight, which is 135. So Dominick Cruz came into the UFC as a 135er and has been there throughout his career. But as I said, his career, he was in the commentary booth a month and a half ago. Like,
It's crazy.
Yeah. So, but I mean, at the same time, he is the greatest of all time at the weight. And it's going to be really interesting to see what kind of rust he has with that kind of layoff.
For anybody listening, and for me especially, I mean, there could be some people that aren't really, familiar with the weights. How high is like heavyweight? Like how many pounds do you have to be for heavyweight?
Sure. So heavyweight is between the max is 265, but you can be anywhere between 265 and 205.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you could have someone that's like 210 fighting 260.
Absolutely.
Good Lord.
Wow.
Yeah.
Seems like an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one weight class that's really out of control. It's kind of a catch-all. Like anyone that doesn't fit into light heavyweight, which is the max is 205. You can be anywhere from 205 to 185.
Yeah, that's a tighter margin right there.
That's it. It's kind of and from there it gets real small. Like light heavyweights 205 to 185. The 185 is middleweight. 170 is welterweight. 155 is lightweight, and then 45 is featherweight, 35 bantamweight, and 25 flyweight.
Wow.
Okay. Good to know. Learning new stuff because I, haven't followed too closely. Sure as hell will now though.
125-pound human, like, man, that seems like you should be able to just tackle that person and like
Will
throw them through a window.
Yeah,
that
you're
will
done.
smoke you.
Like quicker than you can even get to the thought of tackling them.
YouTube Demetrius Johnson, and this guy is a fucking animal.
That's wild.
Yeah, like how do you even catch someone like that? Like they're just like 125-pound like animal. Just it's hard to like even think about. Like how would you even start to fight someone like that?
You wouldn't. It would be over before you tried.
Exactly.
They're just lightning quick. A 125-pound ninja.
The first step of the fight for me would be getting back up off the floor.
Yeah.
What the fuck just happened?
End this now. Climbing out of the ring.
Exactly.
Fuck this. Fuck Jacksonville. Fuck all of this. Do you want to move on to any others that you have your eye on?
Yeah, the two more fights I want to touch on is this is the most fun fight of the night for me. It's the big boys. It's the 265ers, and these guys are natural 265ers. They're going to cut weight to get to 265 pounds. It's Francis Ngannou and Jairzinho Rozenstruik, who are two of the heaviest hitters in the UFC. This thing is fireworks. Right now, I'm seeing Francis minus 265. Rozenstruik plus 225. Francis is coming off 3 tremendous first-round knockouts of 2 of the all-time legends of the sport, Cain Velasquez and Junior Dos Santos. Also a knockout of Curtis Blades, who is a real up-and-coming fighter, one of the better fighters in the division. Rozenstruik is undefeated, hasn't faced, obviously, the level of competition. He's more on the come-up, but his last fight, I don't know if you guys remember the Alistair Overeem fight, from a few months back, where the guy that literally got his face punched off.
Definitely.
It
was disgusting. Yeah.
Whoa, yeah.
That's this guy, Jairzinho Rozenstruik, real scary power. He that knockout was with about 4 seconds left in the fight, so he's got power literally through all 5 rounds. But unfortunately, I think this is where kind of his hype train slows down a bit. Because after Ngannou lost his title fight against Stipe Miocic, and after his real lackluster, very strange performance against, I don't know, the name's escaping me right now, where it was essentially a fight where nothing happened. Derek Lewis is who it was.
Okay.
He's really refocused himself, as I mentioned, 3 straight first-round knockouts. His power is unbelievable. When he hits you, things just explode.
These guys are fucking huge. I'm just looking at pictures of them.
Yeah, they're gigantic. So, yeah, this is going to be a real fun fight.
I'm seeing that Rozenstruik's won 90% of his fights by knockout or total.
Yeah. So he's
10-0.
He's 10-0 with 9 knockouts. Yeah. So these guys are both going to hit you hard.
And Francis is from Cameroon.
He is. Yeah, Rosenstrike is a little bit more of a volume puncher. He's going to hit you with more combinations. Francis is just going to swing for the fences and literally knock you into orbit. His knockout of Alistair Overeem, both of these guys have basically murdered Alistair Overeem. So if you want to look up his knockout of Alistair Overeem, it's pretty tremendous. I don't see, unfortunately, Rosenstrike being able to match striking. Ngannou. I think Ngannou is too strong. He's too talented. I just don't know. I don't know a man alive that can withstand the punishment because unfortunately Rosenstrike was getting hit a lot by Overeem, and I think that if you're getting hit that often, I think Ngannou's gonna really be able to hurt you. So.
Okay.
265 is probably a little too juicy for anybody because
it's a lot. I've got 278 here at Parks.
The one thing I always say about UFC is you never know what's going to happen.
I don't like laying a lot of juice.
Strange things. You're never going to make money laying juice in the UFC because weird things happen all the time. There, fights end by a guy getting poked in the eye. Fights end by a guy, getting kicked in the nuts. Like it could be weird, wild things happen in the UFC. So that's why I'm always hesitant of laying juice. Anything more than 200, anything more than 2-1.
It just seems like a lot, and he hasn't fought Francis since what, June of 2019? It looks like. Yeah,
so that's not that long of a layoff.
Okay.
But probably a little extent. I think this fight was originally supposed to happen like the first week of April. And it's just been pushed back.
Yeah, it really is interesting. I mean, he's what, 14-3, 10 by knockout. It goes back to 2013. So yeah, they really do only fight like what, max 3 times a year.
2 to 3
like
times.
They're going out
2 to 3 times
monthly.
a year.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Over
under. Yeah.
Getting beat the fuck up monthly.
Yeah.
Gotta take my monthly ass whooping before the bills.
Street fighting. Yeah.
I mean,
Donald Cerrone, he's one of them. He'll fight you monthly.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. That brings up an interesting question for you guys. Would you stand in there and take a couple shots to the face monthly to pay the bills for the year?
No,
I wouldn't. No.
It
All
depends.
Right, there it is.
It depends on what that entails, and it depends on the amount of money. Like, I think I was talking to a few guys last night. Have you seen that like murder hornet thing that's going on? Someone sent a video, and I don't know if it was of that or some huge ass bee. And like, it's like the guy said that it's the worst pain that he's had from a sting.
Oh yeah, that was the hornet. Oh yeah.
Okay. I don't want to be stung by it, but what amount of money would it take for you to just, sit there and take it? If you had a doctor, like in the room or, a hospital around the corner.
I mean, if I had a doctor, it wouldn't be that much because I don't think there's going to be any long-term effects.
It doesn't seem like it, but his arm, he said, like 4 hours later was like twice the size of the other one. The thing has venom in it, and he said that it's the worst pain that he's had in his entire life.
Yeah, so it attacks your nervous system.
So you might actually lose an arm. Like you could potentially you want a doctor around.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For me, it would be a lot. It would be like 10 G's.
Yeah, I said $2,500 at first. And then I was thinking through it more, and I don't know why I was thinking through it more, but there's nothing else to think about right now except work and then, now we have UFC, of course. But I'm thinking that it would have to be more than $2,500.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I would probably do it for $5.
500 or $5,000?
No, $5 grand.
$5
Dude, for $50 and a pack of cigarettes. Tell you what. The murder hornet can sting me if I could get these pay-per-view fights for free.
There you go.
That's like a total of $80.
Yeah. Just give these fights, all 3 Jacksonville fights, everything for free. I believe next Wednesday are going to be for free. I mean,
the other 2 are going to be for free. I'm 95% sure. I need to look into them.
Fucking better be. God.
You can't have weeknight fight and expect people to pay for it. No one will. I guess people want to still do it.
They might be on ESPN Plus, which if you don't have it, I guess that's something that you got to pay for. But I
Really
believe
pushing it here.
I do have that. I forget why I got. Oh, I got that to watch early morning soccer matches to test out an algorithm with a friend.
Yeah, I have ESPN Plus, and I forget why I got it. It might have been to watch UFC actually, like right after we started this little wager.
yeah, UFC is why I have it.
Yeah, definitely. All right, we'll get those bets posted. There's one more that you like, I guess.
The one more fight that I figure we could bring everybody in is everybody's favorite former Dallas Cowboy is Greg Hardy.
I was about to ask. I saw the name and I was like, "Yo, is this Greg Hardy?"
Oh
Okay,
yes,
yeah.
Greg Hardy is back.
Mr. Controversial.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
Fighting
he punched
against-
his wife, right, or
Big time.
girlfriend.
He punched her a lot of times. Yeah,
a
I'm
lot.
sure.
Yeah. Not good.
Not
No.
great.
No, and
Not
he had like a
great,
ton
yeah.
of guns too, right? Then he like threatened her with like a bunch of like big weapons.
Yeah, like the crime scene photos are outrageous. It's just like
Yeah.
literally like 40, 50 guns just like laying on a couch.
It looked like a raid in like some Iraqi village, like because
Exactly.
it was back in the time of like it was kind of around that time, right?
Yeah, it was
2 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, 2012
Maybe
ish, maybe.
Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Yeah, domestic violence 2014. Not great, but he's
No.
back playing in
He's back.
professional sports.
I mean,
He's back fighting, but
so that makes sense.
you'll be happy to know that his controversy did not stop once he entered the octagon because he's 5-2-1. His one no contest is because he took an illegal inhaler during a fight, which you're definitely not allowed to do.
Wait, what?
So he's just sitting on the stool in between rounds, and someone gives him like an asthma inhaler, which you're not allowed to do. It opens up your lungs. It's illegal. So yeah,
You get a puff.
yeah, exactly. So just
Dude.
stupidly just sitting there and had to forfeit the fight.
That's
But yeah, he's taking on a young up and comer, Yogan De Castro, who is a legit prospect that's moving up in the ranks. He had a big win on the Contender Series, big win in his UFC debut over Justin Tafa. He's a guy that I like it. Last I saw was plus 170. I don't know how it's moved now, but finally a plus guy that I'm really liking.
Yeah, plus 165 I have at Parks. Maybe you can get plus 170 out there. Minus 200 for Greg Hardy. I'll
This
bet
is a-
on De Castro. I mean, fuck Greg Hardy. Don't punch women.
Yeah, dude,
I'll
fuck
bet
off with
against
it.
him, especially because it's an underdog. Yeah, bring it
His,
on.
his nickname's the Prince of War. It's
Yeah,
it's pretty dumb. This is kind of a puffy fight. These guys are a bit thick. I kind of
These guys are bigger.
I'm on board.
Yeah, De Castro is an interesting guy. He's a young up and comer who's got good power.
Yeah, he doesn't even have a Wikipedia page.
No, yeah, he's only got a couple fights. Why I like him here is I feel like he's going to have more success once Hardy gets tired, and Hardy's gotten tired in more or less all of his UFC fights. He does not have a great gas tank, and I think that Hardy's style is going to be to try to push him up against the cage.
Okay.
And I don't think he's going to be able to do that because I think Castro's going to come in bigger than him.
Okay.
And I think Castro's going to be able to keep him at distance, not only hitting him with his strikes, but also with his kicks. I think it really comes down to the first guy to get really tired loses. And I think that's probably going to be Greg Hardy, which is why I love De Castro at plus 170.
Would you play De Castro by decision, or do you not think it goes that far? Because
So-
it's plus 900. Because there's a big number. Big number.
You know,
It's two heavyweights, though.
I would place a small weight. You know, if you want to throw
Why not?
25,
Yeah.
throw $25 on that. The plus 900 is stealing. So yeah, because
Put your whole stimulus check on it if you really want to. For people that got a stimulus check,
That's
throw
right. Yeah.
$1,000 on it, right? You win 9,000. Actually, don't,
Because
don't,
these-
don't do that. Don't do
These
that.
big,
Not a
these-
solid investment.
Yeah. So
Maybe it will be.
We see the dichotomy of the two different heavyweights, or the two different types of heavyweights. There's the guys that we were talking about a minute ago. There's the Ngannous and the Rosenstrikes, which are giant men carved out of granite. And as you guys said, this is the other way. These are the beefier boys, where
Yeah.
this fight can go one of two ways. They're either going to one punch knock each other out, or they could get tired at minute 6, and then they're just kind of winging half-ass shots at each other. So
Right.
going to a decision is very possible if they both get to that point and neither can finish the other guy. So yeah, I think Yogan plus 900 decision sounds excellent.
Could think about it. Could think about that. A plus 900 on that. Take some underdogs. I think I might just, play some underdogs and play some plus bets, as well as all of DUI's recommendations, of course. Another thing, over under rounds on this, over 1.5 minus 155, under 1.5 plus 115. So we'll see. We'll see. But I'm excited for these heavyweight fights. I mean, these are big dudes going at it, man.
The heavyweights are going to be fun. There's good fights all up and down. Anthony Pettis and Donald Cerrone is a great fight. The Bryce Mitchell fight's excellent. Vicente Luque, Uriah Hall, all good fights all up and down. Fabricio Verdum coming back, great fights. I can't wait to dig in just a little bit more. I've got picks for everything. Just waiting to shore them up.
You got it. I love how you can pronounce all the names too. Like, I guess you're like well versed in like watching it, but honestly, I'm looking at some of these names. I'm like, oh man, I'm just going to call them by their first name.
Sometimes that's not even working for me.
Yeah. Like just hold up a sign that has their name, because I can't even.
You got to spell it phonetically for us.
Yeah. Like Greg Hardy's easy, because I know that he was the guy, who played for the Cowboys, who was punching women.
Oh, he has a football name,
the
too.
Other guys, yeah, but can't wait to see all of them. We'll have it all up on social media for sure, and I'm sure we'll put up some video. I'll probably have a few on Saturday, and if DUI is busy, I'm sure that I'll just recite his bets out loud or something like that. Put it on.
I will make sure to get them
also.
out. No worries.
We'll have a dramatic reading. We'll have some music in the background.
Nice fireside chat.
A candle.
Why not? Fireside chat. Sounds like a good plan.
DUI.
We'll have that going on, and then I guess we'll do a recording. I'd really like to get into some NFL offseason and some futures and some like win totals. I think that we're probably past due for that, because a lot has happened with the NFL season. The NFL is going to have a live unveiling of their schedule on Thursday evening. I think it's 3
Thursday
hours
night,
long. And I guess that means that Goodell thinks that they're going to play in stadiums, that there's probably not going to be fans, but they're going to be traveling to stadiums and playing. I was of the thought, and this is probably better served for, the next podcast, I thought that they might pick like a few locations and just play in those locations and not travel around. But I guess people have families and they want to be home. And so they will be traveling around the country. So it's going to be an interesting NFL season.
Yes,
I talked about home field advantage going out the window last year and not believing in it for the first 2 months of the season. It's completely gone now. Like literally
there is no home field advantage.
Mm-hmm.
None of it. So I'm excited to see the schedule unveiling. I probably won't watch the whole thing. I mean, I might, but I'll be eager to see, who's playing what weekend. So
the prime time games. Yeah.
Slowly getting back into gear here. I'm excited for this UFC, for all three events. I know that I was talking shit on having it as pay-per-view, but I guess they got to pay their bills. I'll willingly pay. And we'll do some NASCAR too. I'm going to start researching some NASCAR, or at least, start plotting out exactly what I want to bet for some of these races. I mean, why not, right? Why not?
Yeah. We also have the golf season now. So golf tournaments coming up, and actual playing golf with the Rager golf stuff. So there's some interesting stuff going on for all of us.
Yes. When's that golf tournament going on between, what is it, DJ, or who's playing again?
Oh, yeah. That's it's DJ, Ricky. Is it Rory
Wolf,
too?
Rory and Wolf.
Yeah.
Wolf. Yeah.
That's coming up soon, right?
Yeah, I want to say it's next week, maybe.
Okay.
Next Saturday, maybe.
Yeah, Saturday, Sunday, something else to watch. So we'll have some more things to watch. So we're slowly coming out of it here. Even though you're not supposed to be outside with your friends and family, you can watch people beat the shit out of each other on TV.
Yeah. They'll be very close to each other. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Rager Golf started up. Dutch launched that last weekend, took us through his round. He's been playing golf. Might take me out eventually after, I don't know. I want to decide to tear up some golf course. Then I guess that can happen sometime this summer. So
yeah, when you're prepared to spend 4 hours getting frustrated to the point of potentially breaking all the metal clubs in front of you, then let's do it.
My weekends are wide open right now. There's just events being canceled left and right. So my weekends are wide open right now.
I really thought the governor was going to announce today that golf courses were open, but of course he didn't.
That sucks. That sucks. It's a blessing to have them open, because it just
there's always tomorrow.
Yeah, it just makes you feel like, at least you have something to look forward to.
Something to do.
Yeah.
And it's not like a grocery store trip,
Yeah. Right. Do real life things. It's
Plus, if you
competitive
like-
also.
Yeah, if you like to gamble and compete, like it's
Who
like
doesn't?
something where you're outside thinking competitively and strategically for 4 hours.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it's fun.
All right. Keep recording your rounds and maybe
Oh,
give
yeah.
us some tips and tricks. Maybe that's a new idea. Some instructional
it.
videos. Instructional
Yeah,
videos
so
on your
maybe-
swing.
We'll do some practice swing tips and all that kind of stuff. But I think we're also gonna. It might be interesting to explore like some of the games you play on the golf course.
Yeah.
Gambling, yeah.
Because one thing I noticed as we play is, everyone knows the first couple games, but there's so many different ways to gamble on the golf course and have fun from all different levels of skill. Like when you're gambling on the golf course, you can really involve everyone because of the handicapping system. So
Right.
it's there's potential to explain a lot of those fun games as well.
I
Can't
like
wait
it.
for a Rager Dutch watching what's in the bag.
Oh, that's coming up. Yeah. I got to clean my clubs still from
Yeah,
the
there you
last one. But
There we go. Looking forward to it. And maybe from, a content perspective, we could take me out and you can give me pointers. We can just,
Yeah.
see what I'm
I hope
doing
that-
wrong, pinpoint it, take some videos and, see how less awful I become over time. It's an idea.
I like it.
I know that I'm not the only golfer in this crew here, so I hope that we can all do different stuff with that little segment there.
We should have a Wager Rage golf outing
Absolutely.
during the year at some point this year.
That's a no-brainer.
We definitely will. Hopefully it can have, more than 4 people together at once. And maybe we
Right.
can go enjoy a beer inside of a country club at some point. But let's not get too
That-
far ahead
that
of
would be nice.
ourselves.
Yeah, let's not get our hopes up yet.
I'll shotgun a beer on the course and that'll be fine for me.
I did a
Completely
few the
cool.
other day.
On that note, I appreciate it, fellas. We'll talk to you soon, and we'll have all these bets up on our social media. Follow us.
Yes.
Always fun.
Have a good night, everybody.
Later.
Later.
Later.